Interactive Weather Authority coverage will begin shortly. Your live Interactive Weather Authority coverage will begin shortly. Your live Weather Authority coverage starts right now.
All righty. Good evening, everyone. A good afternoon, everyone. Hope everybody's enjoying their Thursday afternoon. Of course, the severe threat is probably the big story going throughout the afternoon, evening hours here. You may have noticed we're under a tornado watch that was issued earlier this morning, or actually right around early afternoon. We do have the potential for a few strong to severe storms. Damaging wind remains the primary threat. Localized flooding, some hail, and even the potential for a few isolated tornadoes. That's all on the table. Right now, the most unstable air mass is in New Hampshire. And to be more specific, southern New Hampshire, we're starting to see some pretty solid cells work their way up into the mountains as well. But it's worth mentioning with the clouds in place, these clouds are probably protecting us a little bit in southern Maine. Thunderstorms, they don't like the clouds and they start to fall apart. But we'll know over the next hour or so if we get the clouds to break, that will juice up the atmosphere. And yes, we do have the potential for some more severe weather in southern and central Maine. We're going to keep the chance for strong to severe storms through about 8 or 9 o'clock. This evening. Let's take a look at the Raymond Skycam. Well, it is cloudy and foggy in some areas. Temperature 65 degrees. And again, if anything, that's some good news, right? Thunderstorms don't particularly like that kind of environment. It's worth mentioning, I think some of these models are having a hard time picking up on where we're seeing clouds and where we're not. But the greatest chance for strong to severe thunderstorms over the next hour or two will be in this area right here. But that line tries to get into coastal areas probably around 7, 8 o'clock or so, and then we'll start to see some improvement after that. Here's the current radar. This is probably the most important piece right now. There's a few areas to highlight. This area right here from Cheshire County all the way into Rockingham, Stratford County, and up into York County. This area right here needs to be watched. There's currently a tornado warning in that area right in there, that red polygon you see there. That is for Hillsborough County. I'm sorry, that's for Hillsborough County. In southwestern parts of New Hampshire. So the previous warning was in Cheshire County over towards Keene. So this is the area to keep an eye on over the next hour or so. It's heading towards the Manchester area. So folks in Manchester, they're under the gun for the potential for severe thunderstorm, damaging wind. It is a rotating cell, so there may be a tornado that falls out of the cloud with that one as well. And we'll be monitoring that as it gets into our area, our region. We start to see that into Rockingham County, Stratford County, and into York County. So the atmosphere is very, very unstable in these areas, specifically because we have the sun returning. With the sun returning, the atmosphere becomes very, very unstable. And we're actually starting to see that develop in the White Mountains as well. Those of you north of Lake Winnipesaukee over towards, looks like Freedom there up towards the Conway area. This one looks pretty rugged right now, moving through the North Conway, Bartlett, Glen, Jackson area as well. Let's see if any of these are rotating. I don't think they are, but let's take a look. The radar beam is a hard time in this area, but yeah, so this is a graphic I typically don't show during my evening broadcast, because what we're looking at is winds moving toward and away from the radar. And we're starting to see that down here. The good news is, I mean, the tough part is in southern New Hampshire, the radar is a hard time seeing these thunderstorms. At least the gray radar does. We're seeing it in the Boston radar a little bit better here. Southwestern New Hampshire is a very, very difficult area to forecast tornadoes, simply because it's so far away from the radar. The radar beam is just too high in that area. But it looks like it's rotating, and there's a little hook on it as well. So that's the cell to watch. And if you're just joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, I want to keep an eye on this area right here over the next hour. Another area will be up in here as well. We'll be watching that. But this area is most unstable into southern parts of New Hampshire. We'll be watching it as it gets into York County, Stratford County, and Rockingham County. There's that tornado watch we just highlighted that goes through 8 o'clock tonight. And again, if there's any good news, there is some good news. The clouds have been very, very stubborn. With the clouds that we have in place, and again, thunderstorms really just don't like that environment. The clouds should break a little bit, and it might be just a little bit too late to get strong or severe storms closer to the coastline. But regardless, though, that's something we're watching. The way the atmosphere is set up, you have a strong low-level jet, what we call, or jet above us, which usually sucks the air or sort of allows for updrafts to develop. At the same time, you have winds at the ground level coming right out of the south, and a few thousand feet up, the winds are moving out of the southwest. So any updrafts get going have the potential to rotate just a little bit. We call that directional shear, and that is most likely, or we're seeing that most favorable environment for that would be into southern New Hampshire, perhaps into far western York County over the next hour or two. So tornado watch, I might be a little aggressive all the way into Androscoggin County and eastern parts of Cumberland County, but we'll see how it plays out. We'll know in the next hour or so once if clouds break, but it's getting late in the day. It's about 6 p.m. almost. So if you're just joining us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, thanks for joining us, of course. I'm in for Ryan tonight, so you're stuck with me tonight, and we're tracking thunderstorms together. So that's front right there. There's actually a little warm front right up in here, and it's interesting. Most of our tornadoes, and a lot of folks have been saying, hey Charlie, we don't get tornadoes in Maine. We average 2 every year. So we do average tornadoes about 2 every year in Maine. We're lucky that most of the state is forested, so we see a lot of trees, and we don't actually see a lot of the tornadoes. All right, this is kind of cool. So this is a graphic I wouldn't show usually on the weathercast as well. But what we're looking at is a graphic called updraft helicity. So what we're looking at is rotating air. So updraft helicity, this is the best chance for seeing a tornado over the next hour or two. So the atmosphere is most favorable. And again, this is just a model, so take it with a grain of salt. But we're seeing some of those updraft helicity tracks moving through southern New Hampshire and into York County. I have no reason to disagree with this. Maybe all the way to the coast, I might have a little bit of a disagreement there. There's a few more updraft helicity tracks up into the Sanford area and the west side of Sebago Lake. But this is the most rugged area, and it seems to be lining up with the current cell that is rotating right here. And again, this is a graphic I typically wouldn't show during my evening broadcast, but this is the area to watch: York County, Stratford County, Rockingham County. The area outlined in red, that's the tornado watch. So tonight's a weather warning for severe thunderstorms, damaging wind, the primary threat, of course. But can't rule out a tornado. I think there will be probably at least 1 or 2 in southern New Hampshire. If there hasn't been already, we already seen 2 tornado warnings in that area. Here's the timeline, 7 p.m. It's getting to the coast. That might be a little too quick on the model, but we'll see how that plays out. I think things start to improve between 8 and 9 o'clock. Tomorrow looks great. We'll start with a lot of sun. It's partly sunny during the afternoon, and there'll be a few scattered showers late in the day, 5, 6, 7 o'clock or so. I think some scattered showers get going late in the day. Quick look at the 7-day. This is something I'll be showing coming up on CBS 13 to 6:30. There it is right there. The heat starts building Tuesday, Wednesday. And again, there could be a few showers tomorrow, maybe a thunderstorm as well. Oh, the text didn't fit. I got to fix that. If you're just joining us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, let's go back real quick. Looks like a bunch of you are still on here. Thanks for hanging out this afternoon. We have a current tornado warning up in the Manchester area. That's a rotating cell there. So we'll have to see if any tornadoes drop out of the cloud in that one. But the good news is, it's Maine. We get these weak spin-up tornadoes. They're usually not strong, but something to watch either way. We're hearing thunder in Cornish. Good information right there. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. All right. We have Sharon. Thank you, Charlie, for being on the southern Maine, not far from Sanford. Yep. All right. You're in an area to watch. So absolutely, Sharon, you're very welcome, by the way. Thank you for checking in. Yeah, this is the area that is most unstable right in here, the area we've just highlighted. Let's get a little bit closer on this cell. We can zoom in. We can do anything we want. This is YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, right? This isn't a broadcast. I don't have any producers in my ear telling me to rap. So we can keep this one rolling here. Actually, let's see. This is still pretty far away from the radar, but let's see what we can do with it. We'll slice it. Yeah, that's right over Manchester. Yeah, so the cell is climbing up to about 30,000 feet, and it's a rotating cell. So there might be some hail mixed in with it as well. But that's a rugged cell. That's probably a supercell right there. So yeah, we'll watch that one. As it gets into Rockingham County, Stratford County, and York County. So that's the area to watch. Susan, you're very welcome. Thanks for checking in this evening. Thunderstorm in Baldwin. All right, you're hearing thunder in Baldwin. Good. All right, so let's go over to Baldwin. Why not? Let's go to Baldwin. Here's Standish. So Baldwin's back in here. I gotta, let's go back for a second. This Earth is rotated too much for me here. Then we'll zoom in. Thanks for bearing with me. We'll get this. And we'll throw some lightning on. Let's throw some lightning on. There we go. Yeah, so you're hearing in Baldwin these thunderstorms about ready to move into the border, over towards Porter and Route 25. Baldwin's right over here. I can't see Sebago Lake. Right across Route 113. Yeah, there's Standish. Baldwin's somewhere in here. There it is, East Baldwin. I knew we'd find it. So yeah, you're hearing thunderstorms probably coming across through Porter, Brownfield, Hiram, those areas. So we'll watch that. Thanks for checking in, Jim. Appreciate that. This weather makes me tired, Frank says. Yeah, I'm getting tired too. I'm with you with that. I don't know. It's kind of exciting though, right? As long as everybody stays safe, we're in good shape. We'll make it through. This will be okay. If you do get a tornado warning, it's advised to go to the lowest level of your home. Or if you don't have that, maybe an interior room. That's always important. So, hasn't rained in South Portland. Nope, not yet. It's not supposed to until, oh, wait a minute. It hasn't rained in South Portland? Huh. I'm surprised. Oh, it hasn't rained most of the day. Right. Perfect. So you had that break. We've been highlighting 11 a.m. to about 5 p.m. for the dry spirit there, Donald. Sorry, I misread that. My bad, buddy. Will Biddeford see anything? Yeah, you'll get some showers and thunderstorms, I think. Again, the good news is with the clouds in place, that may help us out a little bit. Thunderstorms really just don't like that setup. This is a live look at our Raymond Skycam right here. So thunderstorms are going to hit that marine layer, and they may have a hard time holding together. They probably will. I mean, we have to clear out to some sun to get some of that juice to get going. So we'll have to see what happens over the next hour. Areas that are getting into some sun are in this area right here. We've been highlighting it for the last hour. That this is the area to watch. Another area to watch, we're seeing a little bit of sun develop up into New Hampshire as well, from Lake Winnipesaukee points north. So this next line, there's actually a couple lines. This next line in that area will need to be watched. And if we break into some sun in southern to central Maine, that line could be the main line that comes through. But I still think the most rugged line, let's get out of here. There we go. The most rugged line is this one in southern New Hampshire. The atmosphere is, oh, there it is. New warning. We just got a new warning. That's getting up into Rockingham County. Huh, that's great. All right, so let's take a look at that one. Let's see if we can see any rotation. That is right over Manchester. There's a lot of people there. That's not a good setup. So that is right over Manchester. And this, all right, so we switched over to the Boston radar. This is a lot better. So what we're seeing here is winds moving toward and away from the radar. So what's happening here is we're seeing on Goffstown, we're getting winds moving toward the radar, which is down in Norton, Massachusetts, and then winds moving away from the radar in red. So that's a good indication that this cell is rotating as it moves through Goffstown and it moves into the Manchester. There's a lot of people here. So this needs to be monitored in New Hampshire pretty closely and right up into Hooksett. So yeah, that's the real deal. So we'll have to see if anything drops out of the cloud with that cell right there. And again, that's in southern New Hampshire. If you're just joining us on the Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, thank you for joining us, first of all. We have no current severe thunderstorm warnings in southern and central Maine, but the area I'm highlighting over the next hour is this one, and I want to see how it holds together as it gets up into this area right here. So the atmosphere is most unstable, and we're most favorable for damaging wind and rotating cells as well. What happens is you have winds moving south at the ground level and winds moving out of the southwest at a few thousand feet above. So any updrafts get going in thunderstorms, they start to rotate. And that's what we're seeing right now. And this was pegged very well by the Storm Prediction Center that yesterday had already placed in that region, even our region as well, and a risk for I think it was 30% chance for getting a tornado 25 miles out from any point. That seems kind of low, right? But it's actually very high, simply because that's 25 miles out from any point. I stand corrected. That was a severe wind potential. The tornado potential was 10% chance 25 miles out from any point. Actually, we can look at that. Why even explain it? Let's see here. Tornado. Let's take a look at it. There it is. All right, perfect. So this is good. Storm Prediction Center made a nice update here. Areas in the yellow. This highlights exactly what we were talking about. Sorry, Betty. I've been keeping you up here for the whole time. The tornado threat today is most likely in southern New Hampshire and southern Vermont, northern parts of Massachusetts, that yellow area. So they scaled that back, which is good. And that's probably what I would do too if I worked at the Storm Prediction Center. Of course, they deal with this stuff all the time, so they probably can handle it better than I can. Regardless, though, that area in the 10% range, that's 10% chance for seeing a tornado 25 miles out from any point. So there could be a point here, there could be a point here, here, and that's 25 miles out from any of those points. So it's kind of confusing. I don't like how they do it, but it's just the government, and that's the way we're going to do it, I guess. 25 miles off from any point. So any point in the tan area here, we have a 5% risk for seeing a tornado 25 miles out from any point. That's important because usually when we get our tornadoes in Maine, we're in that category. We're usually in that 5% range, the 2 to 5% chance. So that's it. And again, damaging wind is still the number one threat. And damaging wind remains the number one threat all the way to Sebago Lake, it looks like. Numerous thunderstorms there. Again, with the cloud cover, though, this we'll have to see if we can break in the next few hours. This is a rugged line getting through, but we'll have to see how this goes down. If you're just joining us, still about 1,000 of you on here. Thanks for checking in. Oh, there's a new warning down in Connecticut. Huh. That's, wow, right over big areas, too. This one's right over Hartford. Huh. And this one's right over Manchester. It'd be nice if they... Huh, that's very interesting. So right over, there's a lot of population in both warnings right now, Manchester and in Hartford, Connecticut. So this is the cell. This one doesn't look too impressive right now. Just south of Freiburg, over towards Porter, Brownfield, Hiram. Yeah, that one probably has a fair amount of lightning in it. Let's take a look. Yeah, some lightning. Doesn't look super impressive with lightning. Let's go. Let's take a look. We have 13 lightning strikes in that cell. We've seen better than that. All right. But it's in this area where the skies are starting to clear out. So this will be another area to watch over the next hour, right in here, as the second line comes through. See that line right there? That one bears watching as well. So if you're just joining us, the area highlighted for best chance for tornadoes in this area right there. We'll have to see if it survives the trip into Rockingham, Stratford County. Actually, it's in Rockingham County. The warning is in Rockingham County right now. But Stratford County, which is this county right here, here's Rockingham County right here. Let's see how it looks on the velocity again. So we get a new scan of the velocity every couple minutes. So the one down in Manchester. Yeah, it's still rotating. So we're grabbing this off of the Boston radar. So what happens is if I scan up a little bit, you see the gray radar? You see how we're just not seeing it. We're seeing winds moving toward the radar in green right here, and the winds moving away from the radar in red. We're starting to see a little cluster right here of shear, but we see it better in Manchester. Oh, actually, look at that. Look at the new scan. See a little red showing up? That's right over Manchester. We're seeing it better on the Boston radar. See where the green and the red meet? That's where we're seeing rotation right there. There's a lot of people that live in this area. Hope everyone stays safe. See, we're seeing rotation look just like that. And the cell, there it is. There's the warning. We can take a look at that. And again, this is in New Hampshire. There's the tornado warning for Hillsborough, Merrimack, and heading to Rockingham County. So I bet that is scrolling on our TV screen right now because Rockingham County is in our viewing area. We'll have to check that out. We're getting ready for news at 6:30 tonight. And if you're just joining us, I'm in for Ryan tonight, so you're stuck with me. But we'll get through the day. I think we'll be okay. And again, if you're just joining us, the clouds are actually helping us out quite a bit. So let's take a look at the latest cloud cover. Here is, all right, there's Raymond right now. So we're still socked in the clouds right there. Let's take a look at the visible satellite. We have one of the GOES 16 we call floaters right over us, which I really like because we get 1 minute updates. These are snapshots every 1 minute over the last hour. It's pretty cool to see because the cell we just highlighted, this is the top of it. And this is a satellite that's 22,000 miles above us. And we're seeing the cloud tops. See those cloud tops? I think that's always fun to watch. So we can loop through this one more time. Let's do that one more time. But the reason I bring that up, there's still a lot of clouds. And if we broke out into sun at 2 o'clock this afternoon, I think we'd be in big trouble. But I think these clouds are going to help us out a little bit. Come on. Just got to loop through this. Here we go. There it is. So there's still a lot of clouds in place. Where we get the sun to return, that's where the atmosphere is going to be most unstable. And we're seeing that in southern New Hampshire. So if you're just joining us, there's the tornado watch that remains in effect until 8. I am happy to report, this is new that I just found out live just a few minutes ago, that SPC Storm Prediction Center that sends these out. You may have seen this map. You know, these maps are all over the place on Facebook and Twitter, and I don't know, maybe they're on Instagram as well. I got to get better on Instagram, but these have been all over the place last few days. And earlier today, we had the 10% risk going like this, and the Storm Prediction Center has scaled back that risk, and I have no reason to disagree with that. I think it's the most favorable area for tornadoes is in that area where we're seeing the tornado warning currently. Now, it's worth mentioning the areas in the tan, we get most of our tornadoes. We average 2 a year in Maine. We get most of them when SPC, Storm Prediction Center, issues a risk for a 5% risk for a tornado 25 miles out from any point. So that includes most of our area. So we're definitely not out of the woods, even with some clouds in place. The way the atmosphere is set up, you have winds out of the south at the ground level, southwest at a few thousand feet. So any updrafts get going, we'll rotate. It's not going to take much to produce some rotation in the atmosphere, and that's what folks are seeing at the National Weather Service and at the Storm Prediction Center. So there's the latest look in the warning in Manchester. And moving over towards Raymond, Epping. We'll be watching that. If you follow the trajectory of it, that gets into Dover and up in the Berwicks, perhaps. So the atmosphere is a little more stable in that area. That's good news with some clouds in place, but the clouds have been breaking over southern York County and southern New Hampshire. I want to keep an eye on these cells right up in here still. Yeah, that's a rugged line still, about ready to move into Lincoln, New Hampshire, Plymouth, New Hampshire, where I went to college, by the way. Nice school. It was Plymouth State College when I was there. There's Rangeley up some solid bands of rain. I'm not sure if there's any lightning in that, though. Let's take a look. No lightning in that Rangeley cell. All the lightning is in these cells. Yeah, northern New Hampshire, Coos County. That cell still looks pretty good coming across Route 25, Route 113, where we heard from earlier, a viewer said that they were hearing thunder, seeing lightning in Baldwin. All right, let's stop the Doppler. Let's take a look at this for a minute. Actually, is that one rotating? Let's look at that real quick. Maybe rotating a little bit. We'll keep an eye on that cell near Baldwin. I think we're in pretty good shape right there, though. That's a very heavy downpour, though. Let's take a look at the rainfall rates. All right, 2 inches per hour, 3 inches per hour. I wonder if there's some hail in that cell. Let's look at the hail potential. Yeah, all right. So hail tracker is trying to highlight maybe a little bit of hail in that cell. Not big hail, though. That's good news. see if there's any hail in this cell farther south. Yeah, there's a pretty good chance of hail in that cell near Manchester. All right, maybe I can answer some of your questions here. We have to get ready for news in a few minutes, but all right. So the current warning is that tornado warning in Manchester, right there. Any tornadoes in Concord? Yeah, let's keep an eye on Concord. Why not, James? Because that second line right here, we'll have to watch to see if that clips your area. That second line may need to be watched. Absolutely. How's Livermore looking? I think you're in good shape right now, Livermore. You'll get some thunderstorms, though. We'll have to see if they get severe. Again, the greatest chance will be southern New Hampshire, York County over the next hour. We'll have to see what that second line does. I'm happy that the clouds are in place. That will help us out a little bit. Timing for Farmington. All right, timing is probably a good question. I think we're pretty much in the clear by 9 p.m. So what are we at? 6 o'clock, 3 more hours. We're in good shape after that. Winthrop, yeah. Hi, Jessica. I think you'll probably get some strong thunderstorms in your area. It looks like the most severe storms will probably be a little to your south. So good news there. I got a lot of questions. A lot of people just checking in. I apologize in advance because I probably can't get to everybody's question. Susan, are we safe in Scarborough? Yeah, you'll get some thunderstorms coming through. Again, with the clouds in place, that's going to help things out a little bit, I think. Wayne. Ooh, Wayne. That's a nice spot. Tam, you live in Wayne? I like Wayne. Nice spot up there. Yeah, so I mean, everyone has a chance for thunderstorms tonight. The greatest chance for severe with tornadoes is currently southern New Hampshire, maybe York County. But damaging wind, I mean, all week we've been talking about damaging wind is still the primary threat. I mean, everybody's focused on the tornado part, but straight line wind is still the number one threat. So yeah, I'm sorry. All right, let's see. Everyone wants their own town. It's like a snowstorm forecast. How much snow in my town? I'm sorry, I can't get to everybody's. Will we have school tomorrow? Thinking snow forecast. All right, York, Westbrook, York. How about I'm sorry, I can't get everybody's in town. We should probably leave it like that tonight. All right, it's raining in Sanford now. Good. All right, you got a report. Susan, thanks. I appreciate that. We got a new warning. All right, they just issued a warning on that cell that we just talked about. There it is. All right, so brand new warning. Let's look at it together. Single. All right, this one's moving over toward the north side of Sebago Lake. And, I like it. All right, so the Weather Service issued the tornado tag on it. So the threat, there is a tornado possible in the cell. That means it is rotating. So we're going to watch that one pretty closely. This one right now is currently situated right into the north side of Sebago Lake. It looks like it's moving right over to Tornado Alley, of course, of Maine. Bridgeton, Naples. Looks like it's heading to the Casco area. In fact, let's try to highlight a few communities that will be affected by this very soon. Again, this is a severe thunderstorm warning. It has been issued for the potential for damaging wind and the potential for hail. A few areas, 6:18, it arrives in Naples. Casco, 6:26. So that is the next 20 minutes or so. We'll be watching that pretty closely. Let's look at the velocity on this. Yeah. Does not look like it's very impressive on the velocity right now. So that's good news. We may have some large scale rotation in it, but I don't see anything tight that's going to prompt the Weather Service to issue a tornado warning on anytime soon. It is worth mentioning the Weather Service did issue the tornado tag on it, did put the tornado tag on it. So that means it's a severe thunderstorm warning issue for the potential for, I'm going to reading through it for the first time with you folks, 60 mile per hour gusts. Okay. And they're not even mentioning hail, which is good. But they use the tornado tag. So tornado possible. Seems reasonable. Let's watch that. Again, the atmosphere is set up in a way that winds are moving south at the ground level, southwest at a few thousand feet up. So it's not going to take much. Once you get an updraft going, it's not going to take much to get these to start to rotate. So that's why the Storm Prediction Center has placed our area in a risk for isolated tornadoes. Here's the latest on this Manchester cell. All right, that still looks pretty bad. All right, this is the Boston radar. I like Manchester. You can see the Boston radar here. Here's the gray radar there. Boston radar, gray Maine, or should I say Norton, Massachusetts, gray Maine. And let's look at the velocity. So we're looking at winds moving toward the radar in green, winds moving away from the radar in red off of the gray radar. The problem is it's so far away that the radar beam's too high up in the atmosphere. So we're having a hard time seeing that there. And even the Boston radar doesn't look too impressive. So that's good news. As that cell moves east, looks like it might be weakening a little bit. Still a little rotation in this area right there, though. Let's keep an eye on that over the next hour. So tornado warning has been issued for that cell, moving into Rockingham County now. And there it is. Let's see if there's any new updates on that warning. I'm reading through this as well. All right, so we have a new warning, it looks like. Manchester, Bedford, Hooksett, Goffstown, Raymond. That's what the warning has been issued for. I wonder if we have any new updates on it. This is just outside of our area, though, our viewing area. So we're not going to hop on the air with this. We will hop on the air on CBS 13 and Fox 23 if any are issued in our regions. There's a little hook on it still, so still looks pretty. Still looks pretty pretty healthy on radar. Let's knock that off. I want to look at the new warning here, so we're going to look at this together. All right, so here's the new warning through 6:15. So that remains in effect through 6:15. I wonder if any of the verbiage just changed here. The locations include Chester, Auburn, Deerfield, and Sandown. So yeah, that's the area in New Hampshire to watch right there. Let's check that cell going on up in Maine right now, up near Sebago Lake. Yep, we still have a nice warning on that cell. That has been issued with the potential for damaging wind. Again, this is a graphic I typically don't show. This is the velocity, the winds. Winds are moving toward the radar in green. If we saw the winds moving away from the radar in red, you'd start to see what we call a couplet, and we don't really see that right now, which is good. Good news. Good news all around. There's a lot of wind in that one down in Manchester. Yep. All right, let's just go through this real quick here. Here's the tornado watch. Let's go back to that real quick. Areas in yellow through 8 p.m. with some clouds in place. That's going to help us out a little bit here in southern and central Maine. This is what we call the helicity tracks, updraft helicity. So this is a new update over these areas right here have the greatest potential of seeing a tornado. And this is just a forecast model, so take it with a grain of salt. I can't zoom in. We'll get it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move this pause point over right here. Now I'm going to zoom in. I can do this now. Yep. So those are what we call helicity tracks, and that's just a forecast model we're seeing as rotation in the atmosphere. So notice there's a chance in Sanford, and it's kind of taking that cell that's in moving into Rockingham County and taking it right into York County. So that bears watching. And this model seems to be doing a pretty darn good job. Look at that. It's kind of hitting, this is last hour's model. It's hitting the Sebago area with some updraft felicity. And it's exactly where that severe thunderstorm warning is in effect with that tornado tag. So that's pretty cool that the model's picking up on that. That's a high resolution model, 3 kilometer model. Look at that. All right, so there's the warning heading into Rockingham County. And here is the warning right now. Looks like it's heading towards Bridgeton. So severe thunderstorm warning in the Bridgeton, Naples, Casco areas. A lot of rain, maybe a little bit of hail, but it's moving right over Denmark right now. This has been issued for the potential for damaging winds. Let's see if we've had any updates from the Weather Service from any reports of damaging wind. I don't see. Oh, we got a report of a tornado. All right, this is brand new. So this is in Manchester. All right, I'm seeing this in real time, just like you folks are. So bear with me. Let's look at the single. I'm talking out loud. So our funnel cloud traveling north on I-93. All right, so somebody saw a funnel cloud. Basically, that's a tornado that does not hit the ground and does no damage. Good news there. We have not had any reports from the Weather Service of tornado, which is good. And again, that's in New Hampshire. Each one of those little golf ball looking things, those are different wind reports, hail reports as far as wind damage or hail. So somebody spotted a funnel cloud, which makes sense. I mean, that was a good rotating cell coming across Manchester. I know that cell is down in Hartford, Connecticut. We can look at that too. Yeah, so there's still a tornado warning down there. All right, so that's off to our south. So closer to home, this is the only one to watch right now. The next one is what happens with this cell, this line. This is probably the main line right there. And the key is, can we clear it out before that main line gets in here? I don't know if we can. 6 o'clock. And we're losing the daytime heating. Let's look at our Raymond Skycam. I'm going to find the Raymond Skycam. Hold on. It's coming up. There it is. There's your Raymond Skycam. This is a camera perched about halfway up our transmitter tower. So yeah, that's pretty socked in. We'll look at the satellite now. Again, these are snapshots from space. Oh, nice little clearing trend there in New Hampshire. Carroll County needs to watch out. Look at this. So we're clearing it out in Carroll County now. See that? See that? Look at that. From Lake Winnipesaukee up into the Whites. Yeah, so that second line could be pretty rugged. We've seen a lot of clearing down to southern New Hampshire, and that's why we've been highlighting that area for our greatest chance for rotating cells. So I think as soon as we get to about 8, 9 o'clock, we'll be in better shape. But yeah, let's just look at the cell really quickly here. Coming in. Yeah, so I want to keep an eye with the clearing. Let's keep an eye on this area right in here as that line gets across. I think we're in, this cell does not look super impressive right now. No, it doesn't, does it? Let's look at the velocity. This is severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for damaging wind. And they used the tornado tag on it. The Weather Service did. So it doesn't look too impressive right now. It's got some very heavy rain though. Localized flooding is still something to watch. All right. That one heading towards Raymond, New Hampshire, not Maine. Still a little bit of rotation. We're grabbing this one off the Norton, Massachusetts radar. The beam is having a hard time seeing some rotation from the gray radar because it's so far away. And there's not much rotation on the other cell north of Sebago Lake. Good news there, but we'll keep an eye on it. And it is 6:15. I have a live broadcast coming up in 15 minutes, so I should probably prepare a few graphics for that. Oh, new warning coming out. Let's just see what this warning is. This is brand new warning. Ah, yes. All right. So there it is. There's your York County warning. That is a severe thunderstorm warning. Let's take a look at the info on it. Good news. The Weather Service sounds like they are not going to extend the tornado warning into York County, at least currently. So single, let's take a look at this. We'll look at it together. Again, seeing this for the first time. All right, so they're using the tornado tag on it, the threat for tornado. And that includes areas coming to York County. It includes Portsmouth, Elliott, Berwick, Kittery, York, Ogunquit, Wells, all those communities right there. So this warning has been issued until 7:15. So that's a pretty long warning. We still got a while. We got a full hour on this one. And the Weather Service is saying, all right, so they're adding hail as a potential as well. So brand new information. The Weather Service is saying this has been issued with the potential for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. Rochester, Portsmouth, Hampton, Durham, Exeter, Kittery, Northwood, Dover, Somersworth, Barrington, Berwick, Epping, Brentwood, Greenland, Kenny Bunkport's in it. Good. All right. South Berwick, Raymond, York, Newington, and Rye. So the Weather Service has issued, they've dropped the tornado warning, and we have a severe thunderstorm warning with tornado tag on it, meaning tornado possible. And if it becomes more apparent that we're seeing a good rotation, or if somebody sees a funnel cloud or a tornado, they will issue a warning on it. But again, damaging wind is still the primary threat in these storms. Localized flooding can't be ruled out. Hail, that's all on the table with this. Let's see if we have any new updates here on this cell. This one doesn't look too impressive right now, does it? Here's a new update. All right, yeah, so they're keeping the tornado tag in it. That doesn't look too impressive. It's right over in Bridgeton, heading into Naples. There's not a lot of rotation in that cell. Great news. Again, this area is breaking out into some sun right now. So this next line coming over toward Lake Winnipesaukee, you want to keep a close eye on that. If you're watching us in Maine, which most of you probably are, the good news we've been highlighting all afternoon is there's a lot of clouds. I mean, the thunderstorms hit the clouds, they fall apart. They don't like that. So I'm not going to say there's no severe weather in our area, but there's a lot of clouds in place. And if we broke into sun at 1, 2 o'clock this afternoon, I think we'd be in a much, much worse shape in southern and central Maine. With that said, we still have a tornado watch through 8 p.m. And highlighting the area, SPC did highlight the area recently. Oh, sorry, folks. That's the wind damage. The area in yellow has the greatest chance for getting a tornado, and that's pretty much passed in that region. We're in the tan area, which is 5% chance, 25 miles out from any point, it's been scaled back just a little bit, which I think is great. We're not out of the woods just yet, though. And in fact, the worst is still probably to come as far as the cells go, because we have a couple lines. We have one right here, and we have this one right here. And it's 6:17 right now. And I think by 9 p.m., we're in the clear. So a little less than 3 hours until we're in the clear with this one. All right, folks, let's leave it at that. What do you say? I'm going to go over to CBS 13 just a little bit. I'm going to hang out with Anna tonight. We're doing going to do live news in about 12 minutes. So I got to get some graphics together for that broadcast. All right, folks, thanks for joining me tonight. And we'll leave it at that. And we'll have some more information over on CBS 13 at 6:30. We'll see you then. Have a nice evening.